Uh,
Mark.
yeah. Three, two, one. Mark.
Mark.
You're
I
tuning
did it at
out.
the same time. I swear
Was
on
it?
my it was at the same time, okay?
Okay. Discord lagged out for me. See, this is
Oh
why.
my gosh.
Discord lagged. But
Hey,
anyway,
welcome everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
welcome,
You made
welcome
it.
everyone. This is the Futari Bozo podcast
Yeah, this is the
with
pilot episode.
pilot episode. Me, myself, Jacob, and over there is
It's me. My name's Evan. You can call me Eban, you can call me Ebana because this is going up on my YouTube channel. But don't get it twisted. This is a co-effort between myself and Jacob. We are equal partners in this. I am not going to Zuckerberger him once we become big and buy him out of the company. We're 50-50 here.
you sold
Um,
Facebook.
but yeah, this is Futari Bozo. Welcome. We are going to be delivering our opinions and basically just converse on the grand topic of anime. The prestigious topic of anime, I dare say.
Prestigious topic. Jeez, say that to me in high school. I figured I'd run away.
uh, anyway, here we are. I think it makes the most sense to get this out of the way and talk about how did we get into anime, where it all started. Jacob, can you take us down memory lane?
Oh, memory lane. How many times I've wandered this? You know, uh, when I originally got into anime, it had to have been my eldest sister
Mm,
who brought anime into my family house. She was really big into it. Her and her friend, the elder sister of my good friend, we're always talking about it and hanging out, going to anime conventions and buying figurines and reading manga at home. And so, of course, being the oldest sibling, we all looked up to her and said, "Oh, this is what we're supposed to do. We're all supposed to watch anime."
that's the good.
So, exactly. So, me and my brother eventually started to learn that Naruto was shown on YTV at like 9 p.m. every night or 8 p.m. or something like that. So around 8 p.m. or so, we like run downstairs. Oh my goodness, we're gonna miss Naruto. Here we go. Get downstairs and start watching Naruto. Um, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to start watching that. And yes, I mean, like I've said before, I was one of the kids who did the Naruto run unironically in PE class.
No.
It's
My
just,
gosh.
it's so hype. You think it's cool, it's great, and you're running like Naruto. People are asking you questions. Why are you doing
Get
this?
me out. Get
And
me
you
out of
say,
here. I'm
you
leaving.
know,
Podcast over. It's not
you
happening.
know, it's I don't need to swing my arms, therefore I'm expending less energy, therefore I am faster than you. And I did win the grade seven 100-meter, 200-meter dash at track and field. So
That's actually insane. Did you
I'd
run
say
like
that
that in track and field? There's no way.
no, no, I didn't actually run like that. It
He's a
would have been
fake. He's
insane
a
if I
fake
won
fan.
doing that too, right?
Imagine. Holy.
Get that on recording in the
Uh,
news. Oh, man wins, running like Naruto.
wow.
Sheesh. But
So yeah.
anyway, but my first real because I mean Naruto watching it on TV, you're gonna get like um episode one is here, episode three, and episode
Hmm.
6 and 16, and oh, we're back to three. It's like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, and,
You don't
and
know how
then
to.
the
You don't know
filler
how to keep
episodes.
track of that when you're a kid. You're just watching it
Exactly.
when you can, right?
Right. So the my initial like very first anime
Hmm.
was an anime called shortly Reborn. Right. I'm not going to try to pronounce the
Reborn.
full name of the anime, but Reborn. Right. And so it's essentially it's this story of this kid who's the heir to a Italian mafia house, right, called the Vongola family.
Mm.
And this hitman named Reborn, this little chibi guy, uh, comes to him and says, "Hey, you're the heir. I'm here to train you. I'm here to help you, and you're gonna learn how to be a boss by me shooting you in the head with this special bullet that's gonna kill you, but bring you back to life with these desperation flames in your body."
Damn,
and
this is like
so
nearly an isekai.
yeah, pretty much almost an isekai, except he's just resurrected, and it's like, what the heck? So Reborn comes around, he's like, hey, what's going on? Bang, shoots him in the head. He dies, right? Comes back to life, but when he comes back to life, he goes absolutely mad. He tears off all his clothes. He has like this flame burning in the middle of his forehead, and he just starts fucking going crazy, running around town, beating people up, yelling and screaming at people. He's completely incapable of having a conversation. He just screams. He's literally just screaming, like running like a madman everywhere around. And so he has to like get friends and build a family and fight there's actually, turns out, haha, there's another successor for the seat of head of the household, and
Oh.
he has to fight him, and then it goes crazy, and then there's time travel.
Oh, what? Wait, wait. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
it goes absolutely wild. It goes nuts. And then yeah, apparently the family has powers based in the whole time space
Continuum?
universe. Yeah, it's so strange. It's like, what the
Oh
heck?
my
But
gosh.
anyway, um, yeah, that was my very, very first anime, and I thought that it was sick as fuck.
You got a
I
wild
thought that it
one,
was
that's
cool.
for sure.
Yeah, it was wild as hell. And I mean, yeah, there were some stinkers in and around between there, but that was my anime in the very beginning.
Wow.
I'm not sure if you have anything like that. That was
I mean,
like crazy.
my first anime is like it. I wouldn't say it's a stinker. I would actually say it's an unappreciated classic of
Oh yeah,
Sonic X. Um,
Sonic X.
I mean, this is one that like I've never seen the Japanese version of this. I know it's an
Hmm.
anime, but I only ever watched it on 4Kids TV. And
Yeah.
when I was a little older, I watched it on YouTube because like I couldn't find it anywhere on TV, so I had to resort to that. Like this is like in like '08 or something, in '09. Like, this is a long time ago, and I was like last watching this. And but Sonic X is basically just like the Sonic story, and like some random hijinks, but like I just really like Shadow the Hedgehog, if
Yeah.
I'm being
Like
honest.
edgy shadow.
It's crazy, but like I think the thing that you well, and we'll get into this because I know this, but audience, I'll be honest, I know a little bit more than you here. But my friend Jacob here, he is a big fan of space epics and mecha anime.
Oh,
And what you don't
yeah.
understand when I tell you this, Jacob, is that Sonic X, the first anime I ever saw, is partly a space epic mecha show.
Oh, you know what? It totally is, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
because because Shadow is like in space with Maria and
Yes.
that Dr. Eggman or whatever the heck
Yes.
his name is has like all the mechas.
Yes, dude. There's literally like Gundam dudes, and they're like alien ones. It's
Oh,
it. I'm telling you, it it goes off the rails. But that is
repressed memories.
that is my first anime experience. But this is like at the same time when I say this, this is before I really knew what anime was. And if I'm
Hmm.
being honest, my first anime experience starts all the way back when I was in middle school, grade 7, year 7, depending on where you are. And it would be me being a little social butterfly in the library at lunchtime, because obviously that's where all the cool kids hang out. And I would sit in there, and I would one day I go in and I would just read like Harry Potter or Aragon and just random stuff like that because I loved reading at the time. I don't even read anymore, which is crazy. I've gotten dumber. I don't know if that's to do with anime, but I could read the subtitles. Let me tell you. So I go in the library, and then I turn my frail little skinny body, and I look down the hall, and I see this lineup of books with this orange font and this black spine, and and I just see the numbers like 1 through like 50, and I'm like, whoa, what is that? And so I go there, and it's Naruto, and I'm like, whoa,
What is Naruto?
wow. I don't have to explain Naruto, bro. You just talked about it, but I grab this, and I'm reading it, and I'm like trying to read it, and I'm reading it like like a white boy, and I'm just like I'm looking at it, and like I don't know how to read manga, so I don't know you read it backwards at the time. For those who don't know, which you almost certainly do, you read it right to left instead of left to right, And so I'm reading it. I'm reading all this stuff backwards. And every time I get to the end of the book, I'm like, oh, this already happened. And
Yeah.
I go through them. I go through like 4 volumes of this. And then I finally realize on the 5th volume that I read the first page and it says, you're reading this backwards. And I'm like, oh, like could have had a V8 moment, slap my forehead. I put it down. I grab the first book again. I read it and I'm just hooked. Like even when I was reading it backwards, I'm hooked. And so I'm reading this. And it's just like, oh my gosh, these children, they're fighting, they're stabbing, they got knives out, people dying. I'm like, well, this is crazy. This is so cool. And I get to the point where I'm reading them and I'm done. Like I'm like, oh, I don't have any more because the library was not buying the new volumes. They just had like a bunch of older ones, and they didn't get up to the more recent
Oh,
stuff.
I
I didn't know
see.
this at the time, and then so I have one of the volumes with me, and I'm in my classroom. This is about a year later now, and my classmates just says, "Oh, have you been keeping up with the show?" And I'm like nani, right? Before I
The show?
and so I'm like, what is this, right? Like, what do you mean show? And she's like, well, wait, you don't know what anime is? And I'm like, what's that? And then like like sitcom sounds play in the background, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck? And so then she like tells me, she's like, it's Naruto, it's the show Naruto Shippuden. You gotta watch it. Like I watch it on Crunchyroll. I'm like, okay. So I go home, I get this app, I watch a billion ads to watch these shows, and it's like dead ass. I'm watching it from like the moment I left off, and I'm like curious about it. I watched some of the older episodes, and it's exactly how I remember. And that's why I felt I was like, dude, this is exactly what I'm reading. And I'm watching it, and it's just like I can actually see the blood. I can see the characters. Gara has red hair. I didn't know that. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's just really cool. I'm like going through this. I'm just like, oh, anime's so cool. And then like I start watching Bleach, and it goes from there. But that was my first like anime experience that I like knew it was anime, where it was like I just haphazardly ran into someone who told me it was a thing because I was reading a manga. So yeah, and then that brings us to today, where I'm not as much of a shonen head as I used to be, but I still do like a shonen. But yeah, yeah. How would you say, Jacob, that your taste for anime is simply that is just reborn in Naruto, or has it evolved?
Oh my goodness. Definitely not. Definitely not. I don't think I could possibly have survived the you know decade and a half on just shonen and Naruto, and a man craves for more.
Oh
You get
yes,
you get older, and you're like, oh, like I want to actually
I
see, I
want to
want to
feel
feel, and I want
something.
to I want to I want to I want to be enthralled, right? And I didn't actually stay on shonen for very long.
Mm.
I think, yeah, you keep up with a few of the popular shonen here and there, but I almost immediately jumped to romance, and romance
Mm.
became the big thing for me. And I watched exclusively like school romance, just any kind of rom-com, and then eventually
Okay, I
went to
see
like
you. I
sci-fi
see
and
you.
that.
Little womanizer. I see you.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, Womanizer. Let's talk about Womanizer. There's this anime called the world or the world God only knows, or or
Whoa.
or
Oh,
or
damn.
God
We're
only
getting we're
knows,
getting
something like
niche
that.
up in here. I
And
don't know this
anyway,
one.
it's this dude who plays dating sims, only plays dating
Oh
sims,
no.
and this goddess comes to him and is like, oh, you gotta do all this stuff and fight these demons or whatever. And to fight these demons, they've like gone into his classmates, the female classmates or girls at his school, and he has to use his knowledge of dating sims to conquer all these
Wait,
girls.
how do I
And it's
know?
like,
How do I not know this? This sounds
yeah,
awesome.
it's hilarious. It is so crazy. And like there's this one scene where he finally like has gets to take a break from trying to conquer real girls. He's like, finally, I get to go back to my 2D girls. And it's this
No.
full like God scene where like he fucking drops in, and he's like he's on the PC, he's on the PSP, he's on the PlayStation, he's on the Xbox. It's like, and like his hands are moving at like a million miles an hour as he's trying to like conquer all these games and all these girls, all these different path and world lines at the same
Oh
time. It's like,
my.
yeah, this guy's the god of dating.
Wow. Well, that was a
But
good segue. So,
yeah, no, for real, that was
that's
that's
wow.
that's a
I
hilarious
don't
one
know
right
that one.
there.
That's great. I'll have to add that to my list for sure.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
kind of silly. It's
Yeah.
really kind of silly. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially for a middle school or high school age guy.
Fair enough.
Uh, those were pretty good.
Yeah, a
Um,
little bit of like dose of reality there.
well,
When you
I don't know. I didn't really put that cut. Well, actually, they do say I was a bit of a player in middle school. So
really?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
talking more about the dating sims.
Oh well, yeah. There's that too.
So I had to throw a zinger in there.
Oh no
But yeah,
worries. Yeah.
so we're big romance man. I see. Romance
Yeah.
and mayhaps comedy.
Comedy, of course,
Big comedy
comedy.
guy.
I'm a pretty big comedy guy, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
Think you're
it's
funny?
no, no. I don't think I'm funny at all, honestly. I think I'm a little bit too serious
Oh,
sometimes.
I see.
Though I can have a bit of energy and things that I'm passionate about, but
Mm.
seriousness, like at work, it's really hard for me to be a bit of the funny guy. But anyway, that's something else. But yeah, no, I mean, so I'd say, sci-fi, romance, those are some of my favorite genres, right?
Yeah,
Um,
got the opposite ends of the spectrum there.
yeah, right. You got one like, totally political sci-fi, complete, opposing relationships sort
Hmm.
of anime, and then you've got intimacy and love and
Yeah.
trying to
All the gross stuff. Yeah.
yeah, well, gross, it's kind of nice. It's kind of
I
nice,
know.
but
I'm memeing. I'm memeing. No, I vibe with that too. I mean, I'll be real. Like the four of the shows I'm watching right now are all romance. Like I'm watching
yeah.
Sono Bisque or the cosplay show. I always
Oh yeah,
forget the
dress
name
up
of it. Dress
darling.
Up Darling,
Oh, dude,
currently
my
airing.
wife, dude.
My
My
wife.
wife.
Yeah.
Is that weird for a 24-year-old to say
W-
my wife
We're
about a high school
we're
girl?
dude. Whatever, man.
Oh man.
We're always gonna say my wife. Let's just say that.
Dude, I
Um,
know.
but yeah, so we got. I'm watching my Dress Up Darling. I'm watching Chobits, which is
Yeah.
like, it's like kind of old, but it's
It
like
is older, isn't
it's
it?
pretty goofy. It's a sci-fi romance, which is funny.
Yeah.
So that's right up your alley. And I'm watching My Love Story.
Yes,
And
that's one that I recommended to you, I'm pretty sure.
this is very true. And I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. I feel like I'm watching a fourth. I just finished Komi-san Can't Communicate,
Yes,
which was
that's
pretty
right.
funny. I
I thought
actually
it was pretty
I
good, yeah.
quite enjoyed that one. There's an interesting twist with most of the characters on the show,
Oh,
where
yeah. Yeah.
they're just aggressively horny for zero reason.
Yeah. It goes really weird there for a
And
bit.
I'm like, okay, but it was really funny though. Like I won't lie, there's some pretty funny scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've quickly like yourself when I decided to branch out from shonen because I was watching Naruto, I was watching Bleach, I was watching Fairy Tail, like
Hmm.
the classics,
Yeah.
and then I watch I have some friends over, and we know we're sitting there, and we're like, we all like anime here. We're like, let's watch a show, right? And
Yeah.
think we were watching just some random fighting. I don't know, maybe like Blue Exorcist or something. We're just like watching a couple episodes,
Yeah.
and then we see like, oh, well, this looks cute, and it's mainly because I was like, oh. Blonde anime girl. That looks kind of
Yeah.
she looks cute, right? And so like I'm
Uh-huh.
like and keep in mind I'm like was grade 10 or something,
Hmm.
and I click on it, I'm like, we should try watching this, and it's Your Lie in April, and we play the episodes, and the first episode, one of the first scenes is just like this beautiful scenery and music playing, and then it just shows like Kaori, the is that her name? I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah.
And
It's something like that.
it's her, and she's just like kneeling next to a cat on the ground, and then she just says meow, and then be the
Yeah.
and because we're boys, we're like, oh, this, right? We just like turn it off, and then
Yeah.
like and we hang out for a bit long, and then they leave, and it's just me, and I'm like, I kind of want to watch that though. So then I fire it back up, and then I go through all the emotions in the world, and I find emotion and empathy and all these things in my own being, because they, keep in mind, in grade 10 I'm still an edgy little boy, right? I'm
Yeah,
like I'm like
that's right.
thinking I'm like thinking I'm the funniest dude out there, because like I swear a lot, and I like Shadow the Hedgehog, and I'm like not emo because like I don't really like want to look emo, but also like kind of cool to like look at people who are emo and be like, oh, I could be
Hmm.
like moody too, all that stuff. But then I watch the show and I'm like, oh my god, there's like we can find love,
Yeah,
and
there's
it just
something
it just
else.
awakened something in me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back into piano, which I haven't played in like a decade, and I'm gonna like try to watch all these like cool shows, and I'm gonna try to find what does emotion mean, and I'm just like I'm becoming a man, and I'm like, what the heck? How did anime do this to me? And so that's how I initially got hooked into like all the romance and drama and stuff, which because
Yeah.
that's non-existent in the anime I had previously watched. It's like what is the extent of romance in shonen? It is there is a tsundere girl and a clueless main character.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's pretty much
And
it.
that's all that happens. So
Yeah.
I mean
Don't get any
yeah.
development, don't get anything going on. It's just there you go. Have 12 episodes of this, and
So
then nothing
yeah.
happens, and you end
So,
up frustrated.
so I guess what we're saying is when we decided when like our taste from when we started was more like actiony shonen, and then we decided, okay, that's over. Let's put on our big boy pants, and let's move on into the world and find some stuff with more substance.
Yeah, no, exactly. Some more substance. Something that's actually gonna have some meat on its bones and not
Yeah.
just, sitting there brain dead for the next half an hour just watching TV shows. So would you say Your Lie in April is up there in one of your favorites just simply because it's one of
um,
your favorites? Or your
I
first,
I
sorry?
think I think it's definitely always gonna have like one of those places. It's got that nostalgic value at this point because it's one
Mhm.
of the first ones that was like, oh, give me more, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, it's like it's crazy to think that I watched at that time, like how I was as a person. I watched a show with no fighting, like there's no action, but I
Yeah,
watched
no,
it
there really isn't.
and I adored it. And it's like, I don't know. I would say like definitely that's like up there in like my most influential anime. I think now that I've seen so many more. Like, I mean, let's be real. At the point when I saw that, it was probably like in my first 10 anime ever. Um, and now at this point, I have seen, or I have like 240 something completed entries in Mal on my anime list.
Hmm.
And I have more watching
Yeah.
and more planned to watch, more dropped, more on hold. Like it's like obvious. I would say like although I think the quality holds up, I just think I've definitely found some more shows that are more personal to me. Um,
Okay.
I do
Yeah.
have like I know I wanted to mention or each of us like we mentioned some fave animes. I'm not gonna put you on the spot and say like give me your top three right now, top three only. Don't give me any more. No filler. I don't want no bullshit. No, I'm thinking like give me three anime that you would recommend to anyone that are like these. This gets the Jacob seal of approval. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That is a really difficult subject to come up on because I feel like a lot of my favorites are classed into the genres
Mm.
specifically because
Mm-hmm.
some of them are favorites in different ways, right? Like top number one over all.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult for me, but I would say that the biggest seal that I can give that would be the closest thing to top overall
Mm.
would probably be Code Geass.
Code
Um,
Geass.
just simply because, I really I sci-fi,
Mm.
politics, OP OP main character who's OP in one way but
Mm.
is so physically
He,
weak that,
yeah,
he fails in
he's got
other
some things going
situations.
against him for sure.
Yeah, he does have a lot of
Yeah,
things going against him.
yeah.
But and then of course you got the romances and you've got Clannad up there,
Mm.
Toradora, right?
Toradora, baby.
Toradora is probably the first romance that I had watched. And it's the one that like set me up for the kind of woman that I'm looking for is the fucking
Damn.
tsundere, dude.
Okay.
Like I'm all about it. I don't know what it is, but
Okay.
I like you know, hey, it forms that little part of you, those core memories, right?
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
and then of course you've got the two others in the romance class. This is a big class because of course I used to watch a lot of romance, but quintessential quintuplets.
Quintessential
Um,
quintuplets.
I know we have a lot to say about that
We
specific
do.
anime. I'm definitely a Miku enjoyer, a Miku fan. She is welcomed
Oh my
into
gosh. Yeah.
my wife you know,
Yeah.
classification.
I'm
But
I yeah, I'm less normy when it comes to my quintessential quintuplets choice of woman. I would say
yeah,
Miku's the normie choice, but I would say
a normie choice.
a man of culture like myself would pick someone like I don't know, maybe Nino or maybe someone like
Yeah.
Yotsuba. Those would be
You know,
those are the two contenders for me myself.
yeah, no kidding, eh? I mean, the weirdest thing about it too is I just finished saying that I'm into fucking tsunderes, but I'm not into the tsundere in quintessential
Yeah,
quintuplets.
that's actually
I
true.
mean,
What's going on?
it's like what the heck? Like that's kind of weird. I don't know. I fell in love with this other one. It was like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
one's great. But yeah, no, that one's near and dear to my heart. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course you have if I were to like group comedy and romance, rom-com,
Right.
right, and its own subgenre, number one would probably be like Kaguya. Kaguya.
Kaguya-sama.
Love is War.
That one just took the
Um,
world by storm. Everyone loves
it
that
did.
show.
It did.
Like,
And
yeah.
and I mean, like you saw like the Chica dance on TikTok for the longest time there.
True.
It was huge. Like it
Yeah.
was like, what the hell? But that like it explores like such a different avenue
Mm.
of comedy with like the narrator, right? Having that omniscient narrator kind of looking in and being like, oh, pointing fingers and pointing fun, and then,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, the whole love is war, and he's really, I mean, it's not really like war until he's in there telling you, oh, this guy wins or this guy doesn't win, like this guy
True.
loses,
Yeah, the
right?
spoils of war and stuff. The side
Yeah,
characters in that show really just they amplify the show rather than like bring it down or distract you from what's going on. It's really
exactly.
really
It's
great.
it's really really well done, and I love
Mm.
it. But and then I'd probably give the last seal there to Iron-Blooded Orphans,
Iron-blooded
Gundam Iron-Blooded
orphans.
Orphans, simply for its drama, right?
Mm.
The drama in Iron-Blooded Orphans is really crazy. You have these kids who essentially they're not forced, but they can't. I mean, yeah, I mean they're quote unquote slaves, right? And they gain a sense of power by finding a war relic, a Gundam,
Okay.
right? And they're able to pilot it due to the fact that they have the old school um, nerve jack-in systems, so they can actually connect to the machines. It
Oh.
was like it was outlawed. You're not allowed to have it anymore because it's super painful and it's super bad. But of course, these guys are slaves and
Right.
they operate like these old ass mining machines. And they find it, and one of the guy jacks in, and they take over the base, and like, haha, we have a Gundam, we're gods, and it goes crazy, and they essentially are now fighting to make their own way in the world. And
Hmm.
they're the Iron-Blooded Orphans, and it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I really, really enjoy it.
That one sounds interesting. I've never heard the plot of that one. I just know it's in my list because you've mentioned
Hmm.
it in the past when
Oh, I'm
we've
always
talked.
mentioning. I mean, yeah, these ones always come up. I'm
Yeah.
always bringing these ones up. It's really, really fucking good.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
But yeah, no, I mean, the favorites they really shape you,
Yeah,
right?
they
And
make it, they give you they shape how you want to like find your other media too. Like
exactly.
yeah, it kind of transcends the medium in that sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, like, I'm sure you yourself have found yourself maybe shaped in any
Mm.
way by your shonen here.
I
Um,
bet. Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say like any of my, aside from like Hunter x Hunter 2011, I would say like there's not a shonen that really like gets into like my like hard seal of approval. I mean, I guess I can't really say that because Mob Psycho 100's on there. So I guess that's like a coming of age story. I guess that counts. Yeah, we'll start there. I do have a shonen in my hard Evan seal of approval anime, and that is Mob Psycho 100. It's become, and this is one that I will say is my favorite anime ever. Um, there's something about it that it just really resonates with me. It's like a shonen. It's One Punch Man, but if everyone had feelings, because the main character, he is, yes, he's overpowered, but he's really brought down by his like social anxiety, and it's just like something that's super unique, and I really like it because it just mixes in some comedy super well, and it mixes in the action amazing. It just looks beautiful and stunning, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome. And it's two seasons, like 24 episodes so far. Season 3 is on the way. I think that's probably gonna be the last season, but it's just like it's at this point, it's like a perfect show in my mind. It's so fantastic. So that's one as far as shonen goes that I really like. It's a coming of age story, but I wouldn't say it's like it's not even like the action's the best part. It's the relationships that surround all these like fights and stuff that just really
Interesting.
tells the
Yeah.
story, which is cool. I can't say that for most shonen, I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
no, most shonen, you're just kind of, oh, I fight for my friends, and then,
yeah.
oh my goodness, I am being beaten, and this guy, he's too strong.
Yeah.
But then I remember, and I flash back, and this guy struggled, and my friend, he encouraged me, and now I fight, and I win, and
He'll never
on and
expect
on
this.
and on.
I'm gonna try harder.
Yes, I'm gonna try harder.
Yeah.
70%. Oh my goodness.
That's the good. I mean, it's still it's great to see that stuff once in a while too, but
It is. It is.
um, I mean that's the one that I always will recommend to people. Another one of my favorite ones that is like honestly, I would say as far as like is the most influential on me would probably be something like Made in Abyss. The whole concept of Made in Abyss is really just like to find your meaning and to adventure. Like going into the abyss for the two main characters is like to find their purpose, and to explore and just to really like go after what they're passionate about. And for me, that just in the real life, in my life, it just translates to me wanting to travel and to explore and to try new experiences. And I think like I mean I won't say that like if I never watched that show I would never travel. I just do think that seeing that show definitely fueled something where it was like a little bit more of a curious side, and something about that show, it just like with its really unique sound, like the OST for it, by Kevin Penkin is super fantastic and makes you feel like you're like on another planet. And I would like watch that show. The animation's fantastic. It's these two kids going through these crazy experiences down in this like unknown like abyss, and it's just it's so cool, and it gets me all riled up and wanting to like go do something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like you really just want to get out there, explore, adventure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, if I was in that world, like, I would probably like die within like 2 minutes.
you'd open
Um,
up a blacksmith shop and just, hang out in the starting town.
yeah. I'm not really going into the abyss. I'll be real, guys. Um, but the show does inspire you in certain ways, which is really cool, and I think that's like a great aspect of it. Um, yeah, I mean, and this one is just I guess the if I was to give another one, and we're gonna shift genres back to comedy, Konosuba.
Oh goodness, Konosuba.
Konosuba.
I know I've said this before, but this anime is second to none, right? And I'd
Yeah,
say, Kaguya coming in second here, but yeah, second to none. This is a masterpiece of comedy,
yeah.
Konosuba.
It takes such a oversaturated tropey thing like isekai and flips it on its head and makes it like the most refreshing genre you could ever see. Like I never would
Right.
have thought before watching this show that I would watch an isekai and be like that was so unique. But I watched this show
Right?
and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I just want to watch isekai now." How did it
Yeah,
do
and
that?
for those unfamiliar, isekai is a genre within anime where somebody dies and they're brought back to life in another world,
Mm,
right? Or they're transported to another world, and usually it's a world of fantasy and magic and all the the wonderful things.
Hmm.
But yeah, and as it turns out, that was really popular for a good number of years, and there's about 100 million isekai out there now.
There's still
I
like
think,
two per season.
yeah, I know. There's at least two per season, and the isekai really started to come out. I think people probably yell at me for this, but Sword Art Online was probably the biggest one in the
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah, I
right?
would
That
say
really
so.
started everything.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Konosuba is it almost can't even be classified as an isekai
Yeah,
because
it's just a
you get it at the
parody.
beginning. It's like, yeah, it's right at the beginning, and then it parodies it the entire time. It's like, okay, this is great. This is hilarious.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I mean, unless you have any more thoughts on some, I mean, I would say that you guys, you listeners, probably have a decent idea of what Jacob and I like, how we were, kind of like how we've shaped our anime profile over the years. If we're gonna throw some numbers around, like I said, I have like about 240-ish completed shows. Jacob's
Yeah.
got double that.
Well, 500 or so. I think it's like 508
Yeah,
entries.
500, but I lost
I mean,
count. No big
yeah,
deal. Fucking
let me just check the stats here real quick. This
big
is
guy over here.
yeah, 501. Hey, there you go.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah. So we ain't no slouches, but yeah. If you have no more to say on the topic, because I'll be real, like we're gonna be doing this podcast weekly. Yeah. Let's actually take a little bit of a side note. Um, our goal with this podcast is to basically discuss things that are in the realm of anime, like having some prompts that we can do little lists or discuss anime that apply to it. It would be great if anything that you as listeners you want to hear us talk about, you can even link an anime that you really like. Even if we've seen it, we could still discuss it, review it, talk about how we hate it, talk about how we love it, and then you can get mad or you can agree with us in the comments in the next video. We just want to create a bit of a community here, and kind of just be two bozos talking about anime, because that's kind of all we got going for us at the moment.
That's right. That's pretty much all we got.
So yeah, but we're essentially we're gonna be here weekly on YouTube. I'm gonna try to get some just strictly listenable versions of this on something like maybe Apple Podcasts or Spotify if I can. I've never used those platforms to upload anything on, so I don't know how that exactly works. But there should be a way where you can get some sweet um, many hours of our voices into your ears without having to visually see this disgusting photo of Kazuma on the screen that Jacob can't even see, but I am
No,
slowly
I
enlarging
can't.
it throughout the podcast for all you visual people. So you don't have to see that if you just get audio. But if we're going to move on from that, I'll discuss more of this at the end and in the description, on what we want to do with the comments. But I'll be real. I can't tell you how to comment. You can comment whatever you want. You can call me some dumb little anime watcher. And it doesn't really matter because I'll probably give a little chuckle. So let's move on to some weekly anime news, about some new happenings that have recently happened. We actually are going to go back like a couple weeks for one of the announcements, but the biggest announcement here is that Funimation and Crunchyroll are combining once again. They're hitting their like Saiyan merge thing.
Yeah.
So this is
Stay
a
in merge.
I don't even know what it's called when they touch the fingers.
Fusion.
The
Yeah.
fusion. Yeah,
Fusion.
sorry. I've never seen Dragon Ball, guys. I'll be real. Um, but yeah, they're fusing. So Funimation is coming to Crunchyroll. So basically, what does that mean? Well, all of us who haven't been paying for anime because maybe we'll want to have some from each streaming service, and that's just too much money. Well, now we just pay one fee, even if I don't know if they'll elevate it a little bit, but regardless, it's going to be more anime for cheaper if you like to subscribe to these streaming services. I mean, you could still just be a Netflix anime watcher. There's plenty of good ones on there, but I would say if you want to watch the new shows, this is great for you if you want to pay for your anime, because Funimation and Crunchyroll are great at getting a bunch of new shows, and this is just going to help you see all the new stuff quicker with a subscription. And I think it's great because there's too many streaming services out there. I mean, my family has like 20 of them. I swear, like every single week there's a new one that we subscribe to and try to get a free trial. But it's nicer if they just combine. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Jacob?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a lot better to have them all combined. Like you say, we got away from TV and paying for all these channels that you don't watch
Mm.
and having to spend all this money in order to watch this one show that you wanted to watch here, but then pay all this money to buy this other channel that you have all over here. And we're sort of falling into the same trap with the streaming services now. You have Netflix, Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
Crave, Crunchyroll, Funimation, and but now that the two big ones are coming together, you're gonna have a massive library that you're able to
Mm-hmm.
just listen to. You're gonna be able to watch anime. Uh,
Well, you
just
can.
just
I mean,
there,
listen to it
right?
if you're like a real one and Japanese. You don't have to read those damn subtitles. Am I right?
Not a dirty English only ass looking guy like me. Guy like, well, no, actually, you know a little bit of Japanese, so I
No, I
can't I can't
don't.
say.
I mean, mate,
Oh, come
like
on.
a couple words.
Yeah, I just but I I I I had Crunchy way back in the day, but I found that as soon as things started to split off, it was really difficult for me to yeah to find everything I wanted in one
Mm-hmm.
place. And I really hope that this is the beginning of that because if you want to get people to stop illegally watching things, illegally downloading,
I would
pirating,
never.
you have to go the Steam route. You have to go the way to make it so
Yeah.
goddamn easy for people to do it that you know it's just going to be done that way. The issue is, of course, you're running into monopolies, and we already know that animators are paid so little, and there are some really poor working conditions. And you'd hope to see that this doesn't aggravate it, and they kind of do some weird stuff with their pricing, and it becomes a whole non-compete situation. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Crunchyroll has shown in the past that they've been pretty decent with these kinds of things.
Yeah, I think another thing to keep in mind is like, and I know this is like people don't like this, but if this, Funimation and Crunchyroll, if they don't have to compete anymore, there's a chance we get some actually good Crunchyroll originals.
It's true.
Well, I mean, like Tower of God, because Tower of God was great. Like more like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd love to see some more of that. And the thing is now Crunchyroll Funimation, they're all they're all under Sony's umbrella,
True.
right? Sony is the owning company of now these two entities, right?
This is
So
true.
it's hopefully that that'll mean some more money pumping in
Hmm.
because Netflix is doing it. So why not Crunchy?
Very fair. Very fair. What is Let's see. Do we want to talk about the new shows that just got announced today? The new
Today?
renewals? The new
Yeah,
renewals?
no, I don't see why not. I mean,
We'll
the
start with
biggest
the
one
yeah. We'll
I'm
start with
seeing
the yeah.
here is second season of Jobless Reincarnation was announced.
This is true. This is true. Jobless Reincarnation, a show that I'm spoiled because I just finished it.
That's right.
So fingers
After I
crossed.
begged and pleaded with you to watch it
I
for the
know,
last
I
few
know.
months.
I saw it and I saw the etchy tag and I was like, dude, is this some stupid bullshit? But then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is like some good bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is exciting. Another, it's an isekai, but this one I would say is one that it does a little bit more than most isekai, and it's nice that another season's coming out. The first season, part one and part two, were both really well done. Amazing soundtracks, amazing animation, amazing just I mean, the characters, the designs, and everything was great. So I was really surprised at like the amount of like money that was thrown into this project. But yeah, here's the fingers crossed this comes out like fall 2022 or winter 2023. I would imagine it's one of those two. Those are the bigger seasons, and I think this is probably something that drops on a bigger season. But yeah, I know you've been waiting a little bit for this one, so you're probably even more excited than I am.
I have been waiting a bit for it. I mean, you kind of saw it coming. It's been doing really, really well. A lot of audiences
Hmm.
have really, really been loving it. Uh, and it's the world building especially is really something else. You don't often get to see them traveling across all these multiple continents, all these different places.
Hmm.
Every single opening is entirely unique in the second season and shows them, in all these different places traveling. And we've sort of mentioned it before. It gives you a bit of a glimpse into the kinds of things that these people are doing day to day on
Hmm.
the moments that you're not seeing them, right?
Yeah,
And
it's yeah. So if I could jump in here, it the only other show that I've seen do something kind of like this is ReZero with its like openings where it has the song playing in the background, but it's really just like animation going. It's not like a
yes, that's
strict
right.
opening. Typically, I think the first season did it, but the rest of the seasons are all just we still see what our characters are up to, and they're always changing. Like no opening is really the same. It's not that same 1 minute and 30 seconds of the main character going sicko mode on with like some goblins.
Standing beneath a tree with a
Um,
shadow over his face,
yeah,
contemplating how his friends
yeah.
just died.
It's an interesting touch, and it really goes to show that this show they really care about really getting you into the story and really putting you in the really cool world that they made. I mean, the light novel series is massive. From what I understand, it's like really long, and I mean it's still being written, so it's really cool that this is like it's exciting that this is getting more seasons so quick, because apparently there's just so much that's to be said still. Like there's so much more material to go through that we haven't even like touched on. So it's exciting that there's probably going to be more seasons coming out pretty quickly after this even. So
Yeah, a
that's
lot of a
pretty
lot of
awesome.
mystery with the different factions and the different
Hmm.
what exactly happened, why was there such a disaster, let's say.
Yeah.
Uh, like what the heck? It just came out of nowhere. Like what the
Yeah.
how'd this happen? We don't know. So it's yeah, I'm loving it. I'm really loving it.
Very cool. I like how there's like a slice of life element to it too at the start, at least in the first season. For those who want to
Mhm.
watch something like really unfold, the first season is a lot of slice of life, which is kind of weird, but it's also kind of cool because you don't expect that out of an isekai, unless it's Konosuba, which ironically is slice of life. Um, yeah, and then let's move on to the other big announcement. This one's more for me because this is a show I've at least seen, and it's a show I never thought was going to get a second season. But Classroom of the Elite is announced to be returning for a second season as well as a third season as of today.
Yes, that's
I
right.
think a few weeks ago it was announced that season two is going to start, and then all of a sudden flash to today, and then the new art says 2022 and 2023. There's gonna be two seasons, so we're gonna be a first part is gonna be in July for the summer season, and then the second part is 2023. I would imagine probably sometime in the winter season, probably like January, like right away, if they're gonna take a short break. So I'm super excited for it because I didn't expect this to get another one. This is, for those who don't know, a psychological school drama where, like, classic school anime, the school's a little quirky. I'll say that. Where there's like all these point systems and like the kids can be hyper super rich if they're really smart and really like conniving. But if they're really dumb and like don't have good connections within the school, they're gonna be poor as hell. It's like that's a rough way of explaining it. But basically, there's like your classic like classroom hijinks mixed with like multiple classes duking it out in like a battle of wits. It's really cool how they like incorporate so many characters, and have like kind of like this weird royal hierarchy for like the upper class people in the people in the classes that are doing better versus the people who are doing worse in the other classes. It's kind of an interesting concept, and it gives you like a nice little underdog story. I would say that's another fun
Yeah.
aspect of it.
because these are all these students, they're all like come from fairly wealthy, influential families, right?
Yeah, so the thing about this is they're kind of like it's kind of like Danganronpa where like every character is like really good at one thing.
I see.
Like they all have like things they're really oddly good at. You don't see that in all the characters. Let's be real, there's still some dum-dums. But like yeah, a lot of the characters are very smart. Like this is like a super prestigious school. Like not only like just rich people, but also like super smart people. Like you have to be like really smart. You can't just be rich. But yeah, it's I'm excited it's coming back. It's kind of random. I didn't expect it. Um, I really didn't. And then the other announcement. This is from a couple weeks ago. But this is one that you've mentioned to me multiple times, and I still haven't watched it. Honestly, this is kind of sad because people who are just watching this on YouTube have seen that I just added it to my plan to watch list.
Yeah.
But Spice and Wolf is getting an unofficial third season, possibly a remake. We don't know yet, from what I understand.
Yeah. I mean, that one's weird because as far as I know, I haven't seen like any of the newer publications and news on it. It's either a redo of the first two seasons or a full third season.
Mm,
But I think I might have seen something about, yeah, no, he is doing a third season.
okay.
And this one is one of the classics too, especially
In
he
2008. It's
yeah,
old at this point.
2008. And one of the craziest things is I was reading on Reddit. There was a guy who does VR games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he made a post. He says, "Guys, I'd hate to brag, but I think I had quite a big hand in getting the third season made."
Mm,
And he says that in working for this VR company and making games, they wanted to make a game for Spice and Wolf. So they approached the author, the creator of Spice and Wolf, and they said, "Hey, we'd really love to make a game. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. And we'll go from there." And I think these guys were from Germany or
okay.
something like that, from Europe, somewhere in Europe. And yeah, so this one guy specifically flies out there and is talking to the creator and really discussing things. And he says, yeah, the West really, really loves Spice and Wolf. And it turns out that the author had no idea. He had no
Wow.
idea that it was such a meme for Spice and Wolf to be one of the ones where it was like third season went, season three went. Can we count to three? Season three went. Like, everyone's always ripping about Spice and Wolf to the point where, it's yeah, no, it's a meme. And sooner or later, this author, realizes things and doesn't end up making a VR game with this company, but does end up making two VR games with a different Japanese company, I'm pretty sure. And
Mm-hmm.
then, sooner or later, boom, here we are. We have an announcement for the third season. So, this author clearly, he saw that, oh crap, people actually really love my stuff. Reignite the passion, really get back into it, and it seems like, this is what's happened. So it's really, really cool. It's really, really unfortunate to think about that too, because man, how many third seasons got denied because the original content creators
Yeah.
were disconnected from this vast Western audience,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
And
you know that it's like I'll be real. Like I've lived in Japan for a bit. It's pretty crazy to see how many people just watch anime like on the train on their phone and stuff. Like it's a volume that is like definitely not even close to how it is here. But that's not to say that there is not a huge anime audience in North America. Like and globally too. I mean, there's a lot of other countries that love anime.
oh
And
yeah,
I feel like
100%.
there is definitely some crazy disconnect between like people the creators in Japan and the Western audience in like North America. Like I feel like there definitely is so many people who don't understand how like hype so many anime are here. It like even goes to like Nintendo and Mother 3. Like we know how many people want Mother 3 in North America or just in general, and they will never make it because I feel like they
No,
just don't care.
they don't care. They don't. They're just like, hey,
Maybe they
it
don't
is what it
know,
is.
but it's yeah, it is interesting though because like I feel like there is definitely a lot of value in trying to get anime marketed here better because yeah, let's be real, so many people illegally download it.
Oh,
But
100%. Yeah.
maybe stuff like having one streaming service for all of it will help make people pay for it more. I don't know.
I mean, that's the idea, right? And I mean, Spice and Wolf, it's so I mean, it's difficult to market something like this to an audience.
Mm,
So you have Hollow, who's essentially a god, a deity, a demigod. I can't quite remember exactly what it is because
yeah,
it's been
she's a
so long
wolf
since I said
deity.
2008. Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
wolf deity who's like the the god of harvest or something
Mm,
like
yeah.
that.
Okay.
And she shows herself to this one dude who's like a merchant traveling on the road, and it's like, hey, I'm naked and I'm gonna travel with you from now on. Um, and he's just like, what the fuck? Like, what's gonna happen? So he clothes her, throws her in the back, and they kind of go around, and she uses like some of his her or she uses her knowledge to kind of help him sell stuff, and she learns how to be a merchant, and he also learns all these different little things, and they sort of, and it's kind of like a bit of a romance. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's tagged as, yeah, adventure fantasy romance
Mm-hmm.
theme historical because it is set like back in the day. The merchant, he's got a wagon, right? So
Okay. Little
uh,
Oregon
it's
Trail kind of
yeah,
vibes.
Oregon Trail, like it's much older, and yeah, those kinds of things. How the hell do you get a Western audience to fully commit to something like that? Like that's kind of,
It's fair.
it's
It's
pretty like,
different.
but those of us who have seen it know, damn, this is fucking awesome. It's fucking great because it's got so much more than just simple romance. There's so much more than just simple drama or interpersonal relationships
Mm-hmm.
or just all the little things that you might see in very generic anime. That's what makes it so great is
Yeah.
it's got a wide encompassing um uh story.
We like weird stuff. Give us weird stuff.
Yeah, we like weird stuff. Weird fantasy, world building,
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Let me
I
eat it
mean,
up. Give it to me.
honestly, what's that?
Just let me eat it up. Give it to me. Serve it to me.
Yeah,
Give me all
right?
that
Just
that
give it
good
to me.
good.
It's what honestly keeps me coming back to anime. It's the fact that, anime is this totally different medium in which to tell a story, right? You can have the Avengers where you have a camera and CGI and have the world as it stands, but ultimately you're limited by the human physique, the human eye, right? The ability that we have to render things in CGI and make it look, somewhat normal. In fantasy movies, okay, you can be a little bit more liberal, but still you still have to make it a little bit photo real
Mm-hmm.
and not exactly cartoony because we saw how that happened with Sonic. But it's 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 entirely different. But and then in anime, you can make it just absolutely buck wild in a crazy, art style that's totally just like, what the hell, blows your mind. I mean, you can see this guy in his entrance exam with the power of like, 150,000 men, whoever it is, how much power All Might has, just smash the shit out of a fucking robot. Talk about Deku now, and just fucking kaboom, and it just like it holds there in midair, crumples, cracks, and then smash, and gets blown away. And it's like, okay, in physically, it wouldn't really work like that. You'd have an instantaneous, quote unquote, transfer of energy, and it just kind of move. But like, it's
Theoretically,
just
it
like,
wouldn't work like that.
yeah, theoretically. But you have this liberal way of doing things where you can, it's literally to your own design,
Yeah.
and having that ability to just kind of, wow, bring yourself into this other world and really experience things out of someone else's mind. because you with a book, when you read something, you can perceive it within your own mind, and that's great, but you can't really share it with someone without being a grade A artist,
Mm,
right? And even then, like, how do you share, the moments in your mind rather than just a still image? With anime, it's you're telling a story and you have the visuals with it and then the music, and it can be whatever you want it to be, and it is so awesome. It's so great.
yeah. Amen, brother.
Amen.
I am a subject of the religion of anime. So thank you for that speech. That was wonderful. um,
Bow
well,
bow.
let's continue here, and how about we go with on that note, all this beauty and this power and this wonderful imagination that you get when you think of anime. Let's talk about some shows that you like. I need another season. Could be a second season. Could be a third
Yeah.
season. Could be a ninth season. What do we need from anime? What we would be like? Go to the creators and be like, you got to draw this. What are we picking? You got one in mind?
Dang. I mean, it's so tough for me too because sometimes you don't want that, right? It was
Mm,
so good, you don't want the shot of it being ruined, and two, like, it just, don't touch it, right? Don't touch it.
that's fair.
And honestly, like, I can't think of very many that I would say, yes, I need more, because a lot of them have, you know, ended in a way. There's not very many things that I've been unhappy with an ending of,
Mm-hmm.
um, where it's like, okay, come on, give me a little bit more of that. But honestly, if I were to say there's room for expansion, I'd say the comedy genre
Mm.
always
Yeah.
just give me more of
Give
that,
me
and
more funnies.
give me more funnies. And one of my favorites from back in the day is always gonna be Daily Lives of High School Boys, right?
Mm.
Daily Lives of High School Boys. And it's just these high school guys dicking around, being doofuses, just doing just you know being silly. And I love that. Silly comedy is what I'm all about. You crack a joke every now and then, but it has to be silly. Like, just and I could really use some more of that silly comedy. Daily Lives High School Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
This is one that you've brought up many, many times, and I still have to watch it. But
Yeah, I know.
I know I will. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. But this is a 2012 anime, so you know what? With the rate that old anime are getting second seasons, hey, who knows?
Right? I mean,
Uh,
like, I would have initially answered that question with Spice and Wolf season 3.
mm,
Every time. I've been
hmm
like, what needs a new season? Spice and Wolf, Spice and Wolf, but now it's getting it, right? Spice and Wolf is getting it. Who else is getting another season now? Well, like you say, Classroom of the
Classroom
Elite's
of the
getting
Elite,
it.
yeah.
Devils Apart Timers getting
Devil is
another
a
season.
part timer.
Right? Like, jeez, man, all these ones that are
It's
coming out of the
crazy.
woodworks being like, oh crap, yeah, that's right. I would like to see more. I know that there's a lot out there that
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of, but
I
you
got
know.
I got I got two that like I need, and I have one that I just wish.
Hmm.
And the one that I just wish is always gonna be Hunter x Hunter 2011.
Hunter x Hunter.
um, because unfortunately, the mangaka, the writer, he's without inspiration, and he's got chronic illness, so he has difficulty writing, and we were left off with a good ending, but with the way that it's written, there is so much more to be explored, and there is a good amount of stuff that could be made into like a season or two that
Hmm.
has been written so far, but it's just the arc that's currently being written is so massive that there's not really a point in animating it until it's done. And I mean, it's been a hiatus for 2 years now, so we don't know when we're getting more Hunter x Hunter. But my
Dang.
fingers are crossed that it comes back one day.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah.
I still have to watch that. I mean, I know you're always harp. That's one
It's
of the
it's
ones that
peak
you're always
shonen.
harping on
It's
me
peak
about.
shonen for sure. Especially the Chimera Ant arc could be its own
Hmm.
show. It's so insane. Aside from that, if we want to on a brighter note, something that I could see happening, um, Hoseki no Kuni, which is Country of Jewels. I've never actually heard that one. I just know it as Hoseki no Kuni, which I called the Jewel Show. It's a
Yeah, you guys said the Jewel
yeah,
Girls,
the
right?
Jewel Girls. It's like Steven Universe, but like actually good. Um, where none of the characters are like vicious psychopaths. And this is a beautiful show. It's one of the first CGI anime I actually saw as well. And it's so fantastic. The main character is she's a gem by the name of well, she goes by Foss, but the full title of her name is Phosphophylite, which is a famously brittle jewel or gem. And the gems are ranked based on their hardness because that, in turn goes with their battle capability.
Yeah.
Like diamond is very strong, or black diamond is also very strong because they're so hard and difficult to break. But Foss is very fragile, so although she wishes she was very strong, she simply is just really fast. Like her brushing into something will cause her to crack. Um, but the thing about Foss is that she also is very malleable. She can form with other minerals. And so this is basically the first season. It takes a part of it is her really finding this out about herself that she can take on other minerals and materials and gems and stuff.
Interesting.
Um,
So does she end up combining with all the other gems?
oh, I don't know. You might have to watch, but
Oh, I see. I see.
basically,
Yeah, spoilers.
well, that's. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. It's just basically like it's a really good show. There's some really good drama in it. It's classified as an action drama fantasy mystery, and it's a seinen.
Oh,
So yeah, which is interesting. I guess it's like it would be extremely gory, but when they shatter, they don't bleed. They just lose limbs all the time. Yeah, I guess I didn't even think of
shit.
that, but I guess it is kind of violent. But it's really beautiful. It has one of my favorite openings of all time. And yeah, I would say a second season would be great, and I think it could happen. Like I don't know. And then the most likely one, I think, we talked earlier about Crunchyroll originals.
Yep, that's right.
So Tower of God, which
Tower of
I don't even
God.
remember the other name for it because I know it's called some other, like not Tower of God on here. But I guess I'll search it up. But Tower of God is something that Kami no To. It's something that I really fell in love with because I've seen this webtoon, and this is the One Piece of webtoons. Super epic, just nonstop, no end in sight. All this shonen fighting, all the characters are fantastic. All my homies hate the fuck out of Rachel. We hate Rachel. Rachel, you suck. But yeah, no, it's great. Like the all the characters are fantastic. We love Rack, the literally like a crocodile, Hercules. That's cool. Um, yeah, and I would love to see like Crunchyroll renew this for a second season. Do another original. I think it probably did great. I imagine out of all the Crunchyroll originals, this one probably did the best. I think it was
I think
objectively the
so.
best one. Um, although wasn't Tony Kawa also Crunchyroll original? I could be wrong on that.
Onikawa?
Yeah.
There
Um,
were a few of them, yeah.
anyway, yeah,
But
this
they
is
kind of like released like a buttload of them that one
they did
season.
go a little crazy. Yeah, this one was definitely the favorite I saw. I saw some of the other ones, but I don't know. Like, I would say the other ones had more glaring issues than this one. But yeah,
Yeah.
the animation's great. Another Kevin Penkin soundtrack, like Made in Abyss. No wonder I like it, right? So yeah, but that's where I end with my the needs. That's the good that I really need. Um, but
Dang,
yeah.
yeah. I wish I had some of those needs. I'm a friggin' slave, dude. Whatever comes on my plate, there you go. Eat
I mean, I
it.
guess we could always stop complaining, just read the manga. But hey, I like pretty colors, man. I like pretty
Yeah.
colors, and I like hearing the
Yeah,
characters' voices. You know.
exactly. Nothing
Anyway,
better than that.
yeah.
I mean, it's all about the visuals for me too.
hmm Yeah, I mean, like, I'm never gonna read a Demon Slayer manga chapter ever because the anime looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, why
What's the
would
point?
I? Why would I even have to? I mean, Ufotable is just gonna throw trillions of dollars at Demon Slayer, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna like it. So,
You're gonna get a lot of flack for the
wow,
manga readers.
well, I know. Maybe I'll read the manga after, okay? But I know it's gonna come out, so I'm not gonna even bother reading the manga. Like, if I knew a show wasn't gonna get another season, I would read the manga. That's fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, we're at just over an hour now,
Yeah.
which means we won't have to make people's ears bleed anymore. It's over. this
It's
is
over. It's finished.
this is
It's
the
done.
the first episode and the last episode. I hate to break it to you guys, but we're never doing this again.
We're done. That's it.
I'm kidding.
Definitely don't come back next Sunday.
Yeah, next
And
Sunday that would be crazy if you came
yeah,
back next
that'd be a
Sunday.
little bit crazy.
Truth be told, we
Find out.
actually, yeah, we're gonna do this till the day we die. So, little fun fact: you'll be getting these weekly, and we will be old men in our 80s, and we'll still be doing this, and we'll still be talking about how all my homies hate Rachel. Um,
It's
but
never
yeah,
gonna end.
it's never
Never
gonna
gonna
end.
die.
But yeah, thank you for all who joined until this long. This is really long in, like 100 and what am I talking about? An hour and 10 minutes in,
Hour
basically.
and 10.
Hour and
Yeah.
10. But yeah, all the episodes will probably be about this long. Like I said before, feel free to comment any prompts, any recommendations for shows to watch, or just like comment on how you really hated my take on not reading Demon Slayer manga, because you're probably right. That probably is a very bad take of mine. And honestly, you can write that, and I'll probably still not read the manga, but I will accept it, and I will eventually read the manga like after the show's done. But I do appreciate that any comment we'll get. It would just
We'll read them all.
yeah, we'll read them all. We'll read all like two of them because let's be real.
Yeah.
Um,
It's only like a handful of people who are ever gonna listen to this.
anyway, and yeah, we'll try to, like I said, we're gonna try to get this onto other platforms so you can just listen to it. You don't have to have your phone on or in an internet browser. You can just have your phone flicked off and just listen to us. You don't have to have these visuals here. Speaking of visuals, um, and yeah, any final thoughts, Jacob?
No, I think that's well enough to close it out.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the first installment of Futari Bozo.
Thank you, thank
Um,
you, thank you.
and we will see you again in about a week's time. It'll probably be uploaded a little earlier than this one,
Yeah, so it's pretty late.
for reasons that we will never discuss. Um,
Never. Oh, it's not like we lost the audio of the
no,
first
never. That would never
conversation.
happen. That would never happen. We're professionals here.
Come on,
um,
come on, come on.
yeah. Anyway, good night. Good
All right,
night
have a good
and
night.
sweet anime dreams. Hopefully, you wake up in a field um, with getting eaten by snow bunnies. If anyone's
Oh,
ever
that's
seen ReZero,
that's
that
fun.
would be fantastic. Anyway, good night. Stop listening to me. I'm gonna stop talking.
Bye, bye, bye.